I've covered a lot of cases where a person vanishes into the wilderness, either deep on a forest trail or on a walk in nature. And then I've covered the cases where someone disappears in plain sight, on a city street or in a residential neighborhood, places where somebody should have noticed something, where a camera should have recorded activity. And maybe someone did see something, but won't say, or something a camera captured was inexplicably erased. On the evening of July 3rd of 2022, a man named Donnie Farris was dropped off in St. Genevieve, Illinois, to visit his grandfather, in an area where witnesses and cameras were all around. And he hasn't been seen since. And no one can or will say why. Due to a lack of information online, it was difficult to research Donnie's case. So to learn more about him and the circumstances surrounding his disappearance, I spoke with his sister Amanda Wells and her husband Aaron.
He loved to fish. He was a huge fisherman. He was a family man. He loved being around family. Loved fishing tournaments. Loved going four-wheeling, camping, anything to do with outdoors and family. We don't really know what day he went missing. We only know of the last day we seen him, which was the 3rd of July. We were going to St. Genevieve. We ended up dropping him off so he can go spend time with our grandfather. And we were going to go watch fireworks with our children out in St. Genevieve. I guess our grandfather wasn't home, so he was going to make his way back to our house, which was approximately, I'd say, maybe 2 miles apart from each other. From my understanding, then he didn't make it home that night. He went to the gas station, and then that was the last known place. Nobody came forward. I started calling around, and a friend, an acquaintance, shall I say, said she worked at the Moto Mart. We'd seen her in there all the time. Her name is Amy. And I asked her, I said, "Did you see my brother at Moto Mart on July 3rd? She said, "Yeah, I was working that night, and he came in there with Barb." And I said, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah." She said he bought a little thing of Fireball because he no longer does drugs. He doesn't do the drugs he used to do. He's a sober man now. He just drinks occasionally, and a pack of cigarettes and a fountain soda. Earlier that evening, him and my husband worked together. We own a tree business, and earlier that evening, my husband just paid him for doing tree work. So he pulled out a wad of cash, and he was with that Barb chick. And okay. From my understanding, this Barb girl has been known to trap people and steal or trap them and get them in situations and take their money, beat them up and get what she wants from them, have people meet up with her when she's with a person and then just rob them for whatever they have. She came to our house a couple times, but I didn't know her like that. We
were trying to get information out of her because that was the last person Donnie was seeing with.
I trapped her in Moto Mart in front of everybody, and I was getting ready to handle business myself because I'm telling you what, I wanted answers. All of my family's gone. He was it. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. What did she say when you confronted her?
She just kept saying, "I just want answers too. I want answers too. I'm worried about Donnie as well." Well, you were the last one to see him that night. So if anyone's going to have answers, it's going to be you.
Has she spoken to police?
She says that she did, and this and that. I'm not sure. But coincidentally, everyone that was involved that night, so there's a girl named Barb, a girl named Kathy, and a guy named Ronald. It's a known drug house is where she took him to.
Is that about 2 houses away? Is that what that... It's really close to the Moto Mart or no?
It's about 2 miles away from Moto Mart.
So as we heard, apparently someone thought they saw Donnie walking into a nearby house on North Church Street. One witness did come forward to tell Amanda that she had met up with Donnie after he left the senior center. According to this witness, they walked together to a Moto Mart gas station on Vandalia Street and then visited 2 houses in the neighborhood, one on North Morrison Avenue and another on North Church Street. This witness claimed that at the second house she stepped inside briefly, and when she returned, Donnie was gone. So this would place Donnie's last known movements in a residential area not far from the senior center. Investigators tried to verify this story, but critical evidence was missing. The Moto Mart gas station security cameras had captured something, possibly even Donnie and the woman together, but by the time police went to review the footage, it had been deleted or overwritten. Of course, the loss of surveillance footage is a major blow to the investigation, erasing what could have been a clear record of Donnie's companions or movements that night. The only other technical clue was a single ping from Donnie's cell phone. Investigators did track his phone and discovered it pinged once on Chapel Drive, a quiet residential street about 2 miles from the senior center, off the route Donnie would have normally taken. Chapel Drive is not near Donnie's home or the senior center, which raises the question as to why his phone, and presumably Donnie himself, would be there. Was he taken to that area by someone, or did he wander there on foot for some reason? The ping is a fleeting signal, because by the time police arrived, there was no sign of Donnie. So in the span of a few hours on a normal summer evening, Donnie Farris had simply vanished, leaving countless unanswered questions. Now, did they do searches inside that neighborhood?
They did.
The dogs did hit.
But they didn't find nothing.
Where did they hit? At one of the that North Morrison house, or?
Yeah, right behind the house. And they just had a concrete pad poured behind their house. That girl, what's the girl's name that came here? I keep on, not Cassie, the other one.
Barb?
Barb. She came here, and while we were trying to get information out of her, she got on her phone and she said that she had to go help with a pool. And then disappeared.
And ended up going to Lake Hannah out in St. Louis or Missouri somewhere.
For months.
Despite search efforts, no trace of Donnie was ever found. Now, there are multiple theories that have been used to piece together what might have happened on the night Donnie vanished. One theory is that Donnie might have suffered an accident or medical emergency that caused him to collapse or become lost that night. Perhaps he wandered off, either injured or unconscious, and just hasn't been found yet. However, this theory doesn't neatly fit the facts. It's not believed that Donnie would have left on his own. He had strong ties, a close family, and responsibilities he took seriously. By all accounts, he showed no signs of wanting to leave. There's been no activity on any of his bank accounts since he vanished, and he left everything behind.
Phone calls. Yeah.
So the phone calls, just recently he did show verify some phone records. That would have been the last person that called was Barb.
Okay.
Or I guess my brother called Barb, but if he was with Barb, then why did he have to call her? And then there was also the last transaction on my brother's bank statement was the money that he spent at the gas station, which was like $60 for the alcohol, cigarettes, and drink.
Walking away with nothing, no car or cash, staying hidden this long would be very out of character. If he were alive and able, Donnie would have found a way to send word to his family. the voluntary disappearance theory just doesn't align with his personality. The most widely accepted theory is that Donnie met with foul play.
Well, that's the other thing. Ronald, he contacted me, and he was the one that was there the night as well. He was Cassie's boyfriend at the time. He said Donnie was at their house on Chapel Drive. Because I asked him, he called me on Snapchat. So we start recording it because I want to know what this guy has to say. And we told him, you're being recorded. He said, good, I hope somebody's recording this. Well, then he makes the remark. I said, so when's the last time you seen my brother? He said, well, the last time, I'm going to be completely honest with you. The last time I seen your brother, he come over to our house with Barb that night on the July 3rd or whatever. The girls were in the house. Donnie was left outside with me. And he got in the truck with me, and he said that me and him was smoking some, I guess, meth or something. I don't know exactly. I was like, that's kind of strange because Donnie don't do dope anymore.
Right.
Okay. I think this is just his way to make me believe his story. Well, anyway, then he says, well, Cassie was coming to the car, and she's pregnant, and she gets cold. And so I had to turn the heat up, and Donnie got hot. So he got out of the car, and I'm like, well, whoa. How does that make sense that you had to turn the heat up in the dead of summer, July 3rd, and she is 5 months pregnant? Make sense of that. He says that Donnie ended up buying a speaker from Ronnie for Barb, and he ended up buying a bulk of dope from Ronnie, and he ended up charging him high dollars, so it ended up taking all of his money, which Donnie had a large lump sum that night, which I'm telling you now, Donnie is not stupid. He is not going to do that, especially knowing how strict we are. And we dropped him all the time. He was a changed man. He literally was baptized. He was living with us. He worked with my husband. He read the Bible daily, nightly, prayed with our children. No way. Absolutely not. He was a changed man.
And there are multiple red flags that point in that direction. First, the security footage being erased is highly suspicious. It suggests that someone may have wanted to cover up evidence of who Donnie was with. He was seen on security camera at a gas station shortly after he was dropped off.
Yes, and that's the weird thing, that security footage. The detective never went and retrieved that, and it coincidentally got deleted, and there's a whole bunch of conspiracy there.
Surveillance videos don't typically get deleted by accident. If the gas station footage was gone so quickly, it raises the possibility that an individual involved in Donnie's disappearance or an associate of those responsible may have had access to that footage and removed it. Second, the cell phone ping off Chapel Drive hints that Donnie, or at least his phone, was taken on a detour far from his intended path. Chapel Drive is a residential area. If Donnie's phone showed up there briefly, it could mean someone drove him or his phone to that spot, possibly to a final location. We don't know. And if the individual responsible lives there, did they dispose of evidence there? It's a clue with no known follow-up. The most telling sign of foul play is the inconsistent witness account from the last person known to have seen Donnie. The woman who described walking with him that night has reportedly changed her story multiple times. This same woman, who was the one who mentioned going to the Motor Mart and the two houses, If she's not telling a consistent truth, one has to wonder if she's hiding something. We won't name her here, as no charges have been filed, but authorities are surely aware of her statements. So did Donnie become the victim of a planned harm that night? Perhaps he was lured into a situation that turned violent. Could it have been a robbery or assault gone wrong? He wasn't known to be carrying large sums of money or valuables, so a random robbery seems less plausible. This points to the possibility of a more personal motive. It's conceivable someone he knew and possibly even trusted might have led him into danger. Investigators have not publicly named any suspects, but they have also not ruled anything out. Each theory raises tough questions. If it was an accident, why was there no sign of him? If it was voluntary, why hasn't he resurfaced or at least arranged for his possessions to disappear too? And if it was foul play, who would want to harm Donnie and why? Who else did he encounter at those houses that night? Who deleted the gas station footage and what was on it? Every possible scenario leads to new mysteries. Madison County Sheriff detectives say they are still looking into a number of leads regarding Donnie's disappearance, but publicly, they haven't given any indication of a breakthrough, leaving Donnie's family in limbo, suspecting foul play, yet lacking the proof to name a culprit or to find Donnie himself. In Donnie's case, the combination of clues, an abandoned vehicle, missing footage, a one-time phone ping in a strange location, paints a picture that leans towards either abduction or homicide, rather than a voluntary walkaway. All of this is speculation until solid evidence emerges. The investigators remain tight-lipped about what leads they have or what they're currently chasing. It's now been nearly 4 years since Donnie vanished. Donnie's case is registered with the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System. His NamUs profile, ID MP120994, remains active and under review. NamUs, a national database, can help law enforcement match unidentified remains or sightings with missing persons. It's a grim resource, but one to be monitored, hoping that they don't have to find Donnie that way. Currently, this is a story without an ending. At least not yet. And that's why we're talking about it. Because someone out there can help write the ending to this story. All it takes is one person with the right information to step forward. So if you lived in or around Collinsville, Illinois in July of 2022, or were in St. Genevieve around that same time, think back to that Independence Day weekend. Were you near the Woodland Manor Senior Center on the evening of July 3rd? Did you drive Vandalia Street or Chapel Drive that night? Perhaps you saw a man walking by the road, or getting into a car, or even entering a house. If it seems insignificant, that memory could be vital now. Did you visit the Motomart gas station and see anything unusual? Maybe you heard secondhand chatter, someone in the neighborhood who mentioned something odd that night, or a friend of a friend who seemed distressed or secretive afterward. It might be a long shot, but as we've seen in many cases, even the smallest detail can crack a case wide open. We urge anyone with information about Donnie's disappearance, no matter how trivial it may seem, to contact the Madison County Sheriff's Office. You can even reference Donnie's case by name or by the NamUs number. The Sheriff's Office tip line is 618-692-6087. If you're hesitant to talk directly to law enforcement, consider reaching out anonymously. The key is to make sure that information gets to investigators. Let them decide if a lead is worth pursuing. Your job is just to speak up if you know something. Someone out there knows the truth. And in a case like this, secrets rarely stay hidden forever. Allegiances can change, guilt weighs on the soul, and circumstances evolve. This case isn't closed, not for Donnie's family, and not for all of us who believe in finding the truth. As long as Donnie Farris is missing, his story will continue to be told, and you, listening right now, might even hold the missing piece. Thank you for listening to this episode of They Disappeared. Subscribe to They Disappeared on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen for more stories of the missing. If you enjoyed this episode and want to support our work, please consider leaving a review or visiting our Patreon. All links can be found in the show notes. This episode was written by Pat Draven with research assistance from open source material. A special thanks to Donnie's sister and her husband for speaking out, and to the online community who continue to keep Donnie's story alive. This episode was produced by Katie Haze. To see and hear more of her work, please visit her at katiehaze.com. And until next time, stay vigilant and keep the missing in your hearts. Keep their memory alive, because hope is a flame that even years of darkness cannot extinguish.